Good morning, welcome to Trade Live with IG. It is the 8th of December, a beautiful Monday morning, and myself and the cheery Chris Beecham is here to welcome you.
I do my best. Good morning, how are you?
Look at that beautiful morning.
Well, it's mid-December.
St. Paul's.
What do you expect?
You think they'd light up St. Paul's a bit more? No?
Would you?
Yeah, Christmas tree.
The Royal Exchange looks nice, doesn't it? Have you been past the Royal Exchange?
Well, so when I go past Natural History Museum,
that would be nice.
It's stunning, and they actually let people sleep in there. So I think it's once a month.
Oh yeah, the members. Yeah, they do members' nights, and you can sleep overnight. Yeah.
I think I'd have a go at that.
Yeah.
We have a Christmas tree as well. We are all ready for.
It's a bit sad. I mean, he's a bit.
Is that an advent calendar, producer Phil, or is it selection box?
Selection box.
It's a selection box. Okay. Yeah. Did you get one of those as a kid?
Yes.
That's our kind of era, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That kind of thing. Yeah. Our 15-year-old was complaining he hadn't got an advent calendar, and we told him he was too old. So. I think he's too old.
Now, this is your big time of year, isn't it? Were you carol singing or anything over there?
It's kind of ramping up from here, yeah. So we think the first one I've got is Saturday. Angeline's already complaining because she's probably had about 4. There was 1 year I had 8 carol services.
So it's taken her voice out of the game over the weekend.
Has it? Okay. She can still laugh from what I hear in the game.
She is back. That's right. You can probably hear her from here. Good morning, Ange. Welcome back. Now, what news do I have? Well, we're off to America.
What's happening?
So the World Cup draw was on Thursday, and Scotland are in a group with Brazil, Morocco and Haiti. But Scotland-Brazil, we found out on Friday evening, Saturday at 5 p.m, Scotland-Brazil is going to be held in Miami. And the question is, should I go for a ticket or not? So here we go, Scotland-Brazil, here is the ticket. Now, I hate the resellers, but if this is a once in a lifetime, right? Scotland-Brazil in Miami in the World Cup. We are going to beat Brazil.
They're going to murder you. It's like kicking puppies.
Somebody sent in a joke over the weekend that, the kickoff times are a nightmare. It's, 2 o'clock in the morning UK time for the first game. And the second game, Scotland will be kicking off at 11 p.m. And then in the third game against Brazil, Scotland will be kicking off at 11 p.m, 11:03, 11:08, 11:15, 11:27. They kick off every time after the opposition score a goal.
Okay, I see. It's Scotland's worst defeat since Piggy Clough in 1547, won't it be?
Wow. We're going there, are we, pal?
Oh, well, we are, yeah.
Right, okay, so the question is, and this is going to be an early poll this morning. You can see we've got category 2 ticket here, £1,500, or there's a category 1 ticket, and that's 1,693.
But the 10 minutes of football you'll get before you get the floor gets wiped, you get wiped with it.
Yeah, but it's all about the feeling, the samba.
You could do a lot in Miami with that kind of money, couldn't you, really?
But we've waited 28 years for this, Chris Beecham.
What, to play in the World Cup?
To play in the World Cup. 28 years.
Wow.
So, and it'll be another 28 years before we go again.
Well, exactly.
So
Trump will be running for his 18th term.
Yeah. So there's category 3, right? So category 3 you can see here behind the goals. I don't think I want to be behind the goals because that means you've got 45 minutes of seeing Brazil score.
Talk amongst yourselves, everybody else.
So therefore, I am going to put it out to you guys. Should I go for these category 2, 1 ticket for me in my kilt on June the 24th, £1,500. I hate the idea of it, but producer Phil, get the poll up. What options have you gone for? Once in a lifetime, go for it. Wait for a cheaper one. and Scotland will get battered anyway.
Well, yeah, if you wait outside, surely somebody will leave after 10 minutes and you can take their ticket off.
I don't think it works like that. I wish it did, trust me. So that's your poll options. I'll tell you what, if it's a once in a lifetime go for it, I will buy the ticket live on air at 8:15, okay? And you'll see me cry, because there's not much Scottish people like less than parting with their cash.
Exactly. Famous country, famous for its large S.
So you might see me cry on air for the first time as I purchase that, but that will be at 8:15. We'll run that poll till. Should we do some markets, Chris?
Maybe we should do some markets.
Right, what's coming up on today's show then?
The less we talk about the cricket, the better anyway.
Yeah, you wouldn't pay for that ticket, would
No,
you?
you wouldn't. No. Oh.
Oh, well, that tells you how this week's going to be.
It's written in hieroglyphics.
So me and Beachy are on until 8:10 when you get Guess the Chart. 8:15 will be Fast Markets with Angeline. She's back. Woo! And then after that, of course, we've got good old Axel. Axel will be in. Now, we've got a lot of time for Axel to answer your questions this week, so please get them in.
He's got to do a 4-hour session.
He can do as long as you want him to.
Fill time.
Fill time.
Just fill as much time as you like with the most abstruse technical analysis questions you can think of.
But this is like, let's not take these times as gospel, because we know that Angeline's been off on Friday. The chances are she's not going to speak for 10 minutes in Fast Markets.
Probably 20 minutes.
So I would imagine Axel will be on more like 8:40, and then we'll do technically speaking through till about 9:15. Right, bit of overnight action for you, Chris Beecham.
Yeah, what happened overnight? Quiet start to the week, though. What did happen? Oh, thank you, Friar Tuck. Did somebody say cricket? Yes, I did. So.
First of all, let's have a look at... now, where's my friend Boston Frank? My new best friend, Boston Frank. If I'm spending 1,500 quid on a ticket, how's your sofa looking? Of course, Scotland in Boston for the first 10 days. We played 2 games in Boston, which is good. I've never been before. Acclimatised, yeah, exactly.
Can you imagine?
Right, let's have a look at the Asian overnight moves. I was too quick on the button there, wasn't he? Asian overnight moves, there we go.
Early, there you go. Hong Kong down because of the news overnight about China exports to the US were the lowest in, was it 29 years or something ridiculous? The trade surplus topped $1 trillion, but
so it's for the first time ever.
Yeah.
So big trade surplus there for China. Hong Kong down 1%, but the China A50 up 90 basis points. Why is there such...
Interesting.
I've never seen such a differentiation before.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah, so as producer Phil saying, exports to the US fell 29% last month over the year, but exports to other regions grew rapidly because they're probably trying to dodge tariffs in any way they can.
Well, you're jumping ahead of us now, Chris. Oh, calm down.
Just trying to get everything in. You know.
That's our Financial Times headline. And then Nifty 50 down 60 basis points. So are we sure about that China A50 move, producer Phil? Yeah, I would check that, because I'm questioning the two being 1% apart.
Yeah, I don't think...
Could well be, but I want to double check. No, it does look like it's right. Yep. How could I possibly question producer Phil? Right, and then let's have a look at the futures for the rest of the world. Ta-da. On how we're looking there. US 500 climbing back up there. Santa is getting that sleigh ready. And
just 40 basis points between the FTSE and the S&P for the year now, so... teeny weeny gap now, because FTSE is still leading for the year, but...
Is that you including the currency?
No, it's just on an absolute return basis.
So FTSE smashes the S&P 500.
Yeah, but if we just look at points terms.
I had to witness in front of 350 people on Wednesday night, Chris tear a compare to shreds.
I was very restrained about
it. You were not. That's the most aggressive I've ever seen you.
He talked to me afterwards, so I don't think he offended him that much.
So Chris was on a panel at the Finimize investing summit.
Investing summit, yeah.
On Wednesday night, and there was a Stephen, a Scottish guy.
Yes.
He was quizmaster, and he put it to Chris. What do you think about value versus growth, and does the FTSE encompass that value trade, and could that be the big one of 2026?
And I said, no. Not in so many words.
No, there was a lot more words than that.
There was a lot more words. I may have called it boring in front of a large audience, full of dull companies that don't make very much money. And yeah, so I think it went down well, shall we say. Not necessarily with the panel, but it went down well with the audience.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So
yeah.
You've got to be honest with people, though. People have to understand this, really.
Well, you're saying that, but the FTSE's about to outperform in the S&P 500 for the whole of this year.
Yeah, for the first time in 9 years.
Well, a new trend is beginning.
Oh, everything's got to start somewhere, I can imagine.
So, yeah, we put those back up, please. Vol up 90 bips over the weekend. That's an interesting one. So we saw, we've seen a very calm last few days. So we've gone low 6,800s up to high 6,800s. And not too much going on. Gold, 4,200. Bitcoin dipped below 90,000 again yesterday, but it's back up there today.
Yeah, it's doing quite a strong start to the week for Bitcoin. So it looks like a low appears to be in, because it found a lot of buyers around 88 over the weekend.
But it's all about copper. Yes, that's right. Art of Investing. If you haven't seen it over the weekend, we released that on Friday, and copper was my number one choice for 2026. And then we also added to the exposure. So we've now got around 10% exposure in the Art of Investing portfolio for copper, which is, a little bit of risk on there, but I'm liking what I see there. Not just in high-grade copper, because of course that was the one that was affected by tariffs. But if you look at LME, this is always tough to find, this one. We don't have it down as LME on there.
No.
So if you look at the chart for LME copper, which is of course London traded, then that is a beautiful big breakout.
And is that lack of supply, or is that demand? Or?
I think a little bit of both, because of course this plays into our next story around China, but you've also got the supply dynamic. You've got BHP desperately trying their last bit attempt to get Anglos, which they failed in. And it just sets us up really nicely for next year. But as we said, China, trade surplus, topping 1 trillion for the first time, exports soaring, despite the tensions between Washington and Beijing.
Yeah.
Chris Beecham, I put it to you, is China shipping to other South Asian countries that are then shipping to America?
I think the FT is very diplomatic at this point. It says expert economists believe some of these shipments are later transshipped to the US. So I think this is the chief Asia economist at UBP, whoever that is. The US hasn't clamped down on transshipments of goods via third-party countries. So it's kind of everybody knows what's going on. They're kind of turning a blind eye. And I think we discussed this earlier, because the US customs infrastructure isn't set up for all this tariff stuff. They've gone for, well, we don't have to check this stuff for tariffs. Now all this stuff needs to be checked for tariffs, and they just can't keep up with it. So I think a lot of it is still going through, which is partly why perhaps we've not seen the inflationary bounce that you might have expected to see from the imposition of tariffs.
Well, that at last, that has actually answered our question that we've been asking for months.
Where is inflation?
So it's very similar to the Russian oil situation, that Russian oil is still going to countries, including European countries. It's just going via Turkey and via Dubai.
All sorts of other places. This is all right. The Europeans have promised to phase out Russian energy by 2027, which will be 5 years since the Ukraine war started.
Yeah, and 2 years since it finished, hopefully. Right, so we've got, as Chris said, the Asian economist at UBP. I think the crux of the matter is that US has not clamped down on transshipments of goods. So that answers the question that we've been asking for the last 6 months. It tells you why we're not seeing inflation come through. If it continues, then that's obviously a huge deal, because that allows the Fed to then have more confidence in cutting rates.
And when does the new guy come in? May? Is it May? Hasn't?
Yeah. Does he start making decisions before then? I don't know.
Well, he's now the shadow Fed chair, isn't he, really? So a lot of his pronouncements carry weight, particularly.
Because I don't think there is a meeting in April, from memory. I think it goes March to May.
Does it?
Is that right? Or it's there's no press conference in April.
Aren't there press conferences at every single one now?
No.
I thought there press conferences at every single one.
I think
every
they
meeting is
leave
a
out
live
one.
meeting, I think is the way to do it. Yeah, I think it's a...
Good. Right. What have we got coming up in the week ahead? Producer Phil has prepared a UK week ahead, I think, for us.
Oh.
General week
one.
ahead. Any chance we're going to get out then?
January, March, April, June, July, September, October, December. So what have we got? China inflation rate on Wednesday. Expected to be 0.6%. Bank of so you have the RBA as well this week. I think on Tuesday morning. I think he says yes. RBA at 3:30. Rate is expected to be held at 3.6%. RBA being a little bit different there. Canada, as I say, Bank of Canada rate decision expected to be held at 2.25%. Fed rate decision. Of course, this is the biggie, perhaps the last big event of the year. Perhaps we've got payrolls next week. 25 basis point cut expected to that range of 3.5 to 3.75%.
And if you can switch to my screen, please, Cam. We've got, there it is, Chris Beecham's official week ahead. So, yeah, last big event of the year.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as I say, payrolls next week, but that's kind of, I don't know which month that is. Is that half the month between November and December? Does anybody care at this point? Probably not. Fed decision. Shut up shop for the year.
I don't know, actually. I think that this is I agree it's the last big event, but for the January decision, then that non-farm payroll number will be important, I think.
Yeah, I suppose so. And of course, you've got thinner trading probably from next week onwards, and it will just start to be a bit more.
Well, from
move things a bit more.
Yeah, because expiry must be
next. It's not this Friday, is it? It must be next Friday. Yeah, it's the 19th.
Yeah. So everything will be big until the 19th. There'll be a lot, and basically the 19th is the last trading day of the year in any volume. So if Monkey Man, if you've got that big illiquid position, because he moves the markets, does Monkey Man, then Friday's probably the time to make sure you're happy with it through to January, isn't it?
Yeah.
What else have we got this week? Probably not many earnings.
We have Broadcom.
Oh.
We have Broadcom, and Broadcom and Oracle, two biggies.
Oh, how could I forget Oracle? Oh my goodness. So have I got Oracle and the Fed on Wednesday night?
Yeah.
Just cancel my plans.
What it is like Christmas. Some awful Christmas for you, isn't it?
Can't make it on Wednesday.
Oracle and then Broadcom, which is always one of the other candidates to go in the Mag 7 in place of Tesla, because they've done really well. So that's the one. And then if you're into UK stocks, Ashtead, which of course is equipment hire, but mostly in the US, so it's kind of a UK way to play the US economy. And GameStop, which is we were discussing on the desk. Does anybody still care about GameStop? Probably.
The CEO of Robinhood was on the Compound and Friends this week, so I went for a run yesterday and listened to that. It was really interesting listen. I mean, they're just huge, aren't they?
Yeah, they definitely are. The Wall Street Journal piece on them was very good on the investor conferences or the earnings reports they do, and the earnings calls. They treat it like an MBA event or whatever it was they said. So.
Quite glad they're not in the UK. Right, and then Thursday, 11th of December, it's not on there, but the biggest event of the week is actually the marketing team drinks and karaoke on Thursday evening, Chris Beecham.
Gosh, are you going?
Of course. We're going to get you up singing,
I'm not going. Full stop.
Why?
There. I've got something else on.
No, you don't.
So, I do.
This is the marketing team karaoke.
Not a chance.
Are you part of the marketing
Not
team,
a
Chris
chance.
Beecham?
I'm kind of an annex to the marketing team. It's a bit like East Prussia to the rest of Germany in the same. Separated.
Brilliant. For your dividends this week, you've got ABF. That's the only real biggie. Investec, I guess, as well.
Cranswick. Sausages, big thing for Christmas.
Right, yeah.
A big, strong performer, Cranswick.
Okay, we'll take
in the FTSE 250.
taking a slice off your share price there with the ex-dividend on Thursday.
There's another one out there, exactly.
Right, on the chat, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to know which song you would have Chris...
ABF.
Which song would you have Chris Beecham sing in a karaoke?
I don't know any of the words. I don't know any of them.
They come up on screen, it's fine.
I wouldn't know the song at all. I don't know how they go.
I think it's got to be Backstreet Boys. That's my...
I don't know how any of them go. I've never heard of them.
Or do you think he's a rapper?
If it's not on Radio 3, it's not going to happen.
Right, it is 7:50 a.m. We are going to be back in 2 minutes. We're going to have any upgrades, downgrades. We're going to check out what stocks we'll be watching for the morning. And then don't forget to vote. We've got 43 votes in so far. I am considering buying a ticket to Scotland versus Brazil on the 24th of June next year. And I will buy it live if so voted for. How's the vote so far, Producer Phil? It's not looking good for my bank account.
I need to vote, don't I? I must get my vote
It's
in.
going to be very scary. Right, okay, so yeah, so remember to vote there. Should I buy a ticket? Can we still see the... there we go, yeah. Does Rich buy a Scotland v Brazil ticket at 8:15 a.m? Once in a lifetime, go for it. Has 64% of the vote at the moment. 2% are saying you'll get it cheaper, wait. And the final one, Scotland will get battered anyway. I assume that's no, don't buy it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Unless you're into that kind of sadomasochism.
yes. Ole.
Being a Scottish football fan, you probably are. No, they're not famous for their...
How was the cricket, Chris?
Oh, let's not talk about the cricket.
Good. Is it done?
Bazball do nothing. Yeah, the Ashes, I think, have wadded out that door.
Right.
It's going to...
Doesn't it go on to January, though?
Yeah, 3 more tests. There's still some hope of a recovery, but no.
Good. I'm glad we sponsor the team. See you after the break.
If you're looking for flexible ways to trade financial markets, whether you're experienced or new to trading, you've come to the right place. CFDs let you speculate on the price of financial instruments like shares, indices, forex, and commodities without actually owning them. You can benefit from both rising and falling prices across 17,000 markets, letting you find the perfect opportunity. So if you think the market's going up, you buy. If you think it's going to go down, you sell. When trading CFDs, you're trading on leverage. Now, leverage lets you trade bigger positions with less money up front. So this increases your profits on your trades, but also remember your losses are also amplified. So be sure to manage your risk. With us, you're not alone. You're part of a wide community of traders that you can learn from. We've got the experts, the tools, and extensive educational resources to help you on your journey. If you're not quite ready to trade CFDs with real money, you can always give it a go on a demo account. Open an account today, join the conversation, and be inspired to make moves. Welcome to The Art of Investing, a brand new podcast to help you achieve your investing goals. Join me, Rich McDonald, and my co-hosts, Mark Spice Holden and Chris CJ Fellingham, every Friday when we bring you updates from the markets and insights from our combined 100 years of investing experience. like the sound of tax-free trading? Well, that's exactly what spread betting enables you to do. This tax-free way of trading lets you speculate on the price of over 17,000 financial instruments, like shares, indices, forex, and commodities, without actually owning them. With spread betting, you can benefit from both rising and falling prices, letting you find the perfect opportunity. So if you think the market's going up, you buy. If you think it's going down, then you can sell short. Not only is spread betting exempt from capital gains tax, but it's also commission-free. All you pay is the spread. With us, you're not alone. You're part of a wide community of traders that you can learn from. We've got the experts, the tools, and extensive educational resources to help you on your journey. If you're not quite ready to trade with real money, you can always give it a go on a demo account. Open an account today, join the conversation, and be inspired to make moves.
Hello, I'm Axel Rudolph, Senior Technical Analyst at IG and Fellow of the Society of Technical Analysts with over 30 years experience in trading the financial markets. Every Monday I break down a carefully selected trade setup live in my Trade of the Week. Whether you're new to trading or have years of experience, Trade of the Week will help you to generate powerful trade ideas and execute them with precision using stop losses and profit targets. So if you're looking to enhance your skills and boost your confidence in the markets, join me every Monday for my Trade of the Week live on Trade Live with IG.
Welcome back, welcome back. So we've got your pre-market movers, but first of all, Chris has some wonderful Bitcoin insight from
Always
us.
good to keep a record of when people make crazy calls at the beginning of the year. So here's, if you can get my screen up, I've screen grabbed this off some helpful person on Twitter. All these 2025 targets for Bitcoin. Da, 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 da.
So where it should be right now.
Yeah. Or at least within sneezing distance. And Michael Saylor, 1 million, of course, top of the line, unsurprisingly. Kathy Wood at 2 million. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he's 250,000. Tom Lee, we like Tom Lee, he's very sensible, I think, but 250,000. And even JP Morgan, 170,000. BlackRock, what are BlackRock on for 700,000 on Bitcoin?
Yeah, are these as... I can't imagine BlackRock.
Some of these, that seems a bit odd, BlackRock. Some of them seem believable, but I'm not sure BlackRock is 700,000. I have to check those, but...
Yeah, maybe there was like kind of blue sky scenarios.
Somebody fat-fingered that one, but there we go. What was that technical term, Gallery?
Right. Admiral Beecham, that would be a good one, wouldn't it? Admiral, the insurance company, cut to underweight at JP Morgan with a price target of 30 quid. Aviva cut to neutral at JP Morgan with £7.25 target. Magnum Ice Cream. This is the...
It's the one that's spun off. Yeah, it's completed this morning, isn't it?
Oh, I didn't... I've been invited to the IPO on Thursday, so...
Well, they said the sale is completed with the RNS this morning. So.
Okay. Right, but...
Do you think it's going to melt? Oh, get it, Gallery.
Smith & Nephew up 2% with new strategy and new 2028 target. So that's Smith and his nephew. And then, Unilever, no effect on the completion of that demerger. Trustpilot up 5%. That, of course, goes back to the story that we had on Friday.
Yeah.
How did it finish, actually? I didn't look.
It was up on Friday. It was one of the top moves on the 350, actually, on Friday, according to my source. Up 13% on Friday.
Have we seen Andrew McKelvey this morning? Haven't seen a comment. Where have you slept in, Andrew? Let us know. Right, Trustpilot, 146.
I've got it.
Right, we've got 10 seconds until Chris Beecham's about to open the London Stock Exchange on this 8th of December. Big week with the Fed ahead of us. And Chris, counting you down. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Right, let's see the early movers come through. Nice little 50 bips higher for Scottish Mortgage Trust with Bellway.
Yeah, and Bellway next. Oh, and Fresnillo was up as well this morning.
But your negative movers this morning. HSBC, of course, been trading all night in Asia. That's down 1%. And then it looks, yeah, like...
Taking its mood from Asia, I suppose, yeah?
Yeah, it's just, you always...
Just by 5%. Trainline down 2.3%. That was downgraded this morning by UBS to neutral.
Then winners, Vodafone up 1.6%. Interesting. 95.5. I think that might be new highs for the move. Should we take a quick check on that?
Always a retail favourite.
Right, let's go to the 2 hour and then mids.
It may well.
Not quite.
No, because it was 95.40 on the 4th of December. So, oh no, sorry, this is my...
Intraday we went to 96.20. Okay. So, yeah, we're getting there though. Nicely finished the year on the highs, hopefully. And then the other winners are Rolls-Royce up 1%, getting back towards that £11 level. Halford's 149-ish, bit of a wide spread there. And IAG taking off 389.
And EasyJet following closely behind. Also in the departure lounge. But yes, I mean, there were no RNSs of note this morning, I have to say, really. So it's all a bit trading on thin air this morning.
That's better.
That wasn't even intentional, sorry. Wasn't even intentional. Rolls-Royce motoring ahead. There you go. That was intentional.
But wrong.
Well, yes.
BA System 1688. I am in the Wisdom Tree European Defence ETF there. So enjoying those moves. Took the opportunity last week to go into European defence names. We've got Smith's Group up 67 bips, not to be mistaken, of course, with Smith and his nephew, as Ronnie did. Our old friend, I wonder how he's doing.
Yeah.
Has he started his new job yet?
I think he has, yes. Yeah.
Oh, might be today. Shall we phone him on air? Wish him luck. Right, losers for the day in the UK. So where's there? Again, widespread on that one. Bit of a slow
also
start.
Downgraded this morning, so that's why.
Okay, thank you.
Price target of 1,000 pence at BNPP Xane. So there you go.
And then SSE newly ex-dividend there, £21.50. That was on Thursday. BP 451 after the downgrade last week. And that's about us for the UK, really.
Yeah.
Right, across to Europe then. Let's take a look at how those European stocks... Yeah, defence definitely getting a boost this morning.
Is that NATO conference at the moment or something going on? I think that's driving it a little bit.
Right.
That's what we're talking about, I think. And Germany bringing in voluntary military service for 18-year-olds or whatever it is.
Like Rishi talked about here.
Yeah, I think it was. Obviously, I don't know how you can do it because it's not conscription. But yeah.
Yeah. Lufthansa up 2.7, Air France up 1.4. So real big day for the airlines then. Do you think there's maybe a research piece somewhere on all the airlines?
Seemed to be. It was the only downgrade this morning. I don't think the others. Obviously, Lufthansa was raised for outperformance this morning as well. So
yeah. So it must be a sector piece out on the airlines. And
it was a nice thing this morning. FT Alpha were talking about the outlooks for the year. Let me just find it and how they don't read them because. Let me just get this up on my screen. You can see that one gallery. And they said UBS, Ostrom, Citi, and Morgan Stanley all use the word crossroads in their outlooks.
Oh, that's interesting.
So FT Alpha was famously cynical about everything, but they said we'd never read the outlooks because they're pointless. But if you want to read them, you can. But yeah, they found our crossroads.
Right, well, make sure you don't use that.
Yes, I've already asked the global team, how many of you use Crossroad, and can you delete it now, please? Okay.
Okay, so Magnum Ice Cream starts trading today on, in Europe, on the Dutch exchange. That's why we are seeing it. So Amsterdam, London, and New York. It says today. I swear.
It's 3 different listings, like a Neapolitan ice cream. Oh,
Is that the right colours?
Well, what's the Neapolitan? It's strawberry, chocolate, and vanilla, isn't it? Do you even get Neapolitan ice cream anymore? Do you get it? Do they still make it?
I haven't seen that for a long time.
Oh, Cam says he's a big fan.
The reference price has been set at £12.80 per share. €12.80 based on 630 million shares outstanding. And that equates to a market cap of almost $8 billion.
That's a lot of ice cream.
So it'll go into the FTSE one. Yeah, it'll go straight into the FTSE. Oh, that's a shame.
The punters just write themselves. What with that and Prince's tuna, we're going to have a much better year for market writing. Makes life a lot easier.
I'm really going to have to check my emails because I've been invited to an IPO on Thursday.
You just gatecrash every IPO, don't you? Just turn up and in the hope that you get on.
That must be today. No, 11th of December. Today's not the 11th, is it?
No.
Yeah, we have an exciting IPO happening at the exchange on the 11th of December.
It's just you. It's a trap. Don't go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh. Good. Right. So European, what's going down in Europe? It is L'Oreal, Puma, Porsche, InBev, all down between 80 basis points and 1.8%. Not a great day for luxury there.
No.
Feels a bit soft in Europe, actually.
Yeah, the CAC overall down 0.4%. That's back down to lows last Wednesday. So that's about 70 points off the index since then. So Europe faltering. Europe having a really rubbish end, it has to be said. DAX holding up better, though.
Jamie Dimon said over the weekend that he thinks Europe's got real troubles.
Okay.
That's probably not helping. And then we see Chris, where he gets his holidays from, Breakout. Interesting. Have you? You must have been booking for 2026, have you?
Look at that move on Saga.
Saga Holidays up 7% there. Thank you, Andrew, for that. Right, commodities. We're going to check how's our favourite copper and silver. Oh, silver, small up. 5,830 on silver. Oil, back
How much on silver? Sorry? 5,800?
Oh, 58.36, of course.
Numbers, they're all the same, really.
$58. Copper up small, natural gas down 3.7% is the big mover. But you've got crude back to $60. That's the big story.
Holding up, isn't it? A little bounce over the course of the past week. No, over the course of the past 2 weeks, really. Still in a downtrend. But there we go. And what's on with currencies this morning?
133.33 on GBP US dollar.
Is the Irish client base gone?
And yen 155. Interesting, because of course we had the move 158 to 154, but
it seems to have found a low, doesn't it, over the last sort of 2 or 3 days, because Friday we dropped down as 154, and then the buyers have really come back in again. So very much still the uptrend there. So if you look at that on my chart, you'd be tempted to call that
onto Chris's chart, please, guys.
Higher low, I think, although I'd need the expert himself. There we are. This because arguably, of course, Dolly was looking overextended after a good run, and then you had the Bank of Japan coming in nice and hawkish. Any suggestion they would deliberately jawbone the currency down to be vehemently denied, I'm sure, or up rather in this case. But yeah, so still uptrend. Nice little pullback there. See where it goes from there.
Right, what are you looking forward to this week then? Fed,
Oracle.
Well, yeah, Oracle's big for me. I'm going to reduce my position slightly because I'm very long at the moment.
Okay.
I'm short.
Not just long, very long.
Yeah, very long. I'm short puts on $300 and then, 300 shares. and then I'm also got the actual shares in my ISA and SIP as well. So yeah, I've been adding as it's gone lower.
Oracle has outperformed Microsoft, Tesla, and Apple over the last 5 years by a massive margin. There you go. What's the
Say that again, sorry.
Oracle has outperformed.
Have you got a chart on that?
I have. This is Google Finance, but it will do a pinch. This is your 5-year when it decides to load up. It is. It's not playing ball, Google Finance. If you go to the 5-year view, it is outperforming. I don't know why it's not working on this tab. I can't tell you why. Let me see if I can load it up again. There we go. So Google Finance is never near as good as it used to be, but it still does quite good for very quick comparisons. There's your Oracle 260%. Most of this really over the last, well, I say over the last year, but it has really been pulling ahead over the past 2 years, actually. Microsoft up 126, Tesla 123, and Apple up 127%. So if you put NVIDIA, let's put Broadcom in for the week as well. And there's Broadcom in purple, up 861%.
Right, poll results are in. Oh dear, oh dear.
I think we really need to run this. We knew what the answer would be.
Does Rich buy a Scotland versus Brazil ticket online right now? Once in a lifetime, go for it. I have to agree. This Scotland versus Brazil in Miami, first time in 28 years. I can just picture myself in 6 months' time in my kilt, my football top.
Paint your face blue.
Braveheart, only half of it. Braveheart on half the face, and then watching us get absolutely pumped by Brazil.
A noble defeat.
Why would you not pay up for that? Right, okay, let's look at what we've got there. We've got Scotland, Brazil, fan section, no fan restrictions, unrestricted view. Oh, right, let's do it. Oh. What's my card get declined? It's going to, isn't it?
Surely it's going to make you authorise it.
Oh yeah, I've got to authorise it. Right, here we go.
Can we watch this live on his app?
Oh dear. So I've got my flights, I've got my hotels, and I've got my ticket for Haiti, Scotland. But this was the last. Yeah, there we go. We're going to Brazil.
Gonna slaughter you.
Oh dear. Well, it's going to feel horrible for the next couple of hours, and then I'll be very happy about it. Well, I tell you what. We've got June expiry on the platform, so I'm going to have a look at the options market because US 500 is the only one that we've got June on. What's your prediction for where the market will be in June, Chris Peacham?
In June?
In June.
7,200.
7,200, right. What will it definitely not be?
Here.
Well, it definitely won't be here, yeah. If I'm going to do £30 a point, how many points equates to 1,500? Oh, but it's dollars. That's the problem. Let me see. How many do I need to get? Well, it's 1,500 divided by 30 in the currency is 40. $40 a point. 1,500 divided is only 37.5. Is that right? 37, right. So where can we go down to? 37.
Yeah, the gallery says just
5,000. I can sell puts to pay for this ticket at the 5,000 level.
Go on then.
I have to, don't I?
Go on then. You've got to put your money where your mouth is. You need some entertainment when you're watching Scotland get absolutely.
Right. So what was that? 1,552 divided by 36 is £43 a point. Oh, that's a bit much.
That's a punchy level.
So multiply by 1.32, 57. Let's do it. Right, so I'm going to sell $57 a point of S&P 5,000 puts to expire on June the 18th, 6 days before the game, and that will pay for my ticket. Done. There we go. I'm going to Scotland, Brazil for free.
Whoop-de-doo.
Downside risks do apply. This could end up being the worst trade because now I've paid $1,500 for a ticket and I could end up losing 5,000, 10,000 on this. So it could be the most expensive game of football.
Join us next time for an exciting... How much money is he going to lose?
Yeah. Right. Okay, that is us ready then. It is 8:15 on this 8th of December. Boise's asking, put £30 for each goal Brazil's going to score. It's not really getting in the spirit of things, is it, Boise? And Andrew McKelvey's saying exactly the same thing. Rather hedge the ticket with a bet on the result.
Monkey Man says, I don't believe Oracle has outperformed Tesla in the last 5 years. The data from Reuters says Oracle over the last 5 years is up 295% total return. Tesla is up 110%. There you go.
Yeah, I would imagine it probably takes Tesla from the high point.
Over the last 5 years.
Because remember, it went crazy in 2020, didn't it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Good pub quiz question, that.
Yeah.
What country are we in for Guess the Chart? We're in the USA, right, where I'm going to be in 6 months' time. Boston Frank, there he is. Boston Frank, my new best friend.
They were rude to me once. I don't like them now.
I land in Boston on the 10th of June. I'm there for 10 days. I might go to Chicago to visit Sosnoff and the guys, actually. Because there's a 5-day gap in between, so I've never been to Chicago either.
Ah, the Windy City.
Right, ready, USA. Let's go. Guess the chart. Have a good day.
Wake up, traders, play your part. The festive bells are set to start. Snow-lit candles, red and green. Is it crypto gold or the S&P scene? Producer Phil has worked all night to wrap a chart up nice and tight. Indices, FX and commodities, every stock for all your needs. Here on Trade Live with IG, it's the Christmas Guess the Chart. Guess the chart. What do you see? A sleigh ride pump or a cold snap spree? Trend lines twinkle in the dark. Put your money where your mouth is. Guess the chart. Indices, FX and commodities, every stock for all your needs. Here on Trade Live with IG, it's the Christmas Guess the Chart. We'll reach Guess the Chart tonight. Will Ange catch the festive sight? Can you guess the chart?
Welcome back, and we are hit on Fast Markets, where we get you through some of the key things that have happened recently. One of them that we haven't checked out yet is, of course, the Smith and Nephew numbers. Have you talked about that yet?
No, go on.
No, it's not an exciting day, is it? I mean, it's there's not a huge amount going on. So let's pull that up. Smith and Nephew. Let's have a look if I can get that up here. So Smith and Nephew, one of the ones that was moving after, announced a new strategy. Thank you, Andrew McKilvey, for reminding me as well. 2028, it says its financial targets. It's on track to meet 2025 full-year guidance with trading profit margins of at least 19.5% and sees underlying revenue growth of 6% in 2026.
Is that today?
Yes.
Oh.
That was today.
I missed that one then.
Yeah, and somehow my laptop is wanting to cling on to this side of the screen. I have no idea why, but we will try and remedy that in a moment. Here we are. So I have made some handy graphics. Hold on. Here we are. And so if you take a look at my chart now, just showing that for you because it had more than $1 billion in terms of free cash flow. But most importantly is building on this turnaround plan that is, I think, almost at the end of this 3-year transformation. Thank you, Andrew, for making me say orthopedics this early in the morning. That is, so that's Smith and Nephew. We also have Anglo-American. Did Anglos move this morning? Let's have a look. Anglo. Let's have a look. Anglo-American, not much today. Withdraws long-term incentive plan for the resolution ahead of the tech merger. Wow, it's really, really quiet this morning, isn't it? You talked about ice cream already?
This morning. We did briefly do, should we do Palantir because of not poor Alex Karp on his appearance over the weekend?
Oh, I didn't see his appearance.
He was full of, shall we say, animated gestures. Slightly unfortunate, so I wonder if that's the stock price to watch.
What were these gestures?
Well, he was jumping around. Do you remember, this is a bit of a pop culture reference for me, do you remember the infamous Tom Cruise interview on Oprah? It was kind of veering towards that kind of jumping around the stage kind of thing.
Was it veering to the Neil from Planes, Automobiles and Cars? Remember that flip, a Thanksgiving flip, a long time ago? Still an oldie but a goodie. And he, after trying to get home for Thanksgiving, finds out that the car he's rented is not actually in the slot. And it's like...
No.
Right. Now you tell me about that. I'm going to find that clip for you. You tell me whether Palantir's car...
Observers on social media said his appearance was hypnotic and unsettling, and someone said it's a charismatic, if eccentric. Yes, a company that is increasingly under focus because of its work with ICE and obviously the people who are detaining people in the US. So that's certainly become an interesting movement. No movement in the share price this morning, though. I suppose these things always carry more weight on the media than they do in the actual share price performance. But there we go. There's Palantir for you.
So those of you that are wondering what I'm talking about in terms of...
Including me.
Including you. It's a very good film, 1987. Still, it's an oldie but a goodie. Planes, Trains and Automobiles.
Oh, it was Planes, Trains and Automobiles.
Yeah. I don't think producer Phil can show it because of copyright issues. But it's that bit where, yeah, he's found out that, and he's gone to complain because the car that he's rented is not in the spot. There's no car to be had, and he's already had 3 days trying to get back for Thanksgiving in snow, and with this other man, Dell, that's driving him crazy.
Ah, yes. Candy, Bob Candy, is it?
Yeah,
John Candy.
Yeah, I think
John
so.
Candy, yeah.
Yeah. So we talked about Magnum ice cream already, but have we talked about Unilever, which has completed its demerger
How are the
of
shares?
the
How are the
ice
shares
cream business? It's down almost 4%.
Okay, the jokes write themselves this morning. There you go. Unilever.
Yeah.
That's the lowest for them since.
Let's have a look.
Oh, it's on the zooming out moments on the chart.
So last at this level, July 2024.
So what does that do? What do to your dividend payments in the process as well? Because you will get a fairly chunky one for Unilever, won't you? What's the yield on Unilever?
So whilst he's looking that up,
3.6% yield on Unilever, so not to be sniffed at.
but overall, looking like a pretty, quiet day as we start off the week.
Rolling through the indices this morning because there just isn't much in terms of movement. I'm afraid it is December. It is Fed week. There's no earnings. I'm afraid it's that kind of start to the week. Should we just do Bitcoin again? See how Bitcoin's performing?
Bitcoin.
Because, as we said earlier, it has had a bit of a recovery over the weekend. All eyes still very much on that one because
Here we are. Yeah, so Bitcoin coming up right now to around that 91,658 level. We are seeing a resistance at that area of interest. Let me draw it out for you. Around the 95 mark is where everyone's watching right now.
So there you are. And then if you look at either on Angela's or mine, the weekly chart, which I've, thank you, been banging the drum for ages, because that just looks like a decent pullback within a longer term uptrend. So at the moment, as long as that holds, I think we've probably said this for about 4 weeks now, but as long as that holds around these lows, around 82, 83, that is quite nice, because that's the first real pullback you've had. First time we've hit the 100-week moving average since ages, I think. When you think Bitcoin was at 25,000 in late 2023, the move we've had and the pullback we've had and the fevered commentary around it, is it the end for Bitcoin? Is it fated to go much lower?
I remember Sean McGrath was here, friends, and I asked him the exact question, and he said, "We've been here before."
In far more dramatic ways. And so I think it always helps if you are seeing these kind of pullbacks on the daily chart that just don't seem to stop, and you get these frequent false dawns, as you can see. Obviously, you've got to live through this, so it feels much easier to look at a weekly chart and say, oh, it wasn't so bad, because you've had so many times in September, in October, into November, and you think, oh, it's finally bottomed, and then it comes off again. But if you look at the weekly, that is still in an uptrend. It was a particularly ugly pullback, perhaps, and it probably worse, maybe not worse to live through than the one in March. Because if you look at March to October of last year, Bitcoin hit 72 and then didn't go anywhere until late October. So that would have been quite frustrating as well. But that one, you've had your pullback, and as I say, you have to go through 3 stages here. It has to go down, it has to stop going down, and it has to start going back up again. And you may well be moving from the second phase, either not going down anymore phase, to, I can't put it any more simply than that, to the perhaps going back up again phase. And that's the kind of thing pullbacks have to, they don't happen over the course of a day. They are a process, not an event.
Do you normally look at the pullback and you want to see a bit of a, what's the term, retracement, or do you go with the one daily close above, what is that, the 200? Because if you look at the monthly, look at my chart now, the monthly, this is the 20, it seems to have a very nice pattern, and price action seems to want to stay above the 20 EMA,
yeah. So that's the same thing you've had here, because they have to go through these processes, I think, and that's exactly what you've had. You've had a long run since 2020, since 2024, where it hasn't touched that moving average. It had to do that at some point, really.
Interesting questions coming in. Rags, Glasgow saying Bitcoin down 40% over the last 4 years when priced in gold. Switzerland as well.
Niche comment. I like that.
It was very
Thank
niche
you.
indeed. Wow.
Wasn't waiting to trade Bitcoin and gold prices, but
Knows the way to my heart, though, whenever everyone talks about gold. We'll talk about that in a moment. Switzerland as well, volume patterns most interesting to look at on Bitcoin. That is right. And we're always, this is why we always talk about, looking at least 3 time frames, because you want to see if you should do something about it, you should not do something about it, or you should possibly just keep calm and carry on.
could I point out to the gallery that I got if it was FedEx? Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Never get any credit for my.
They're saying in my ear, well done, Chris. Well done, Chris. I did see that you got it first. Andrew McKilvey asking any views on the saga.
Well, here's our daily chart of Saga. If you go to my screen, I've got it right here. So that's a really, really strong run. We did. It builds on what you saw in September. There it is again. Lovely, lovely uptrend. Thank you. Gathering speed really as it goes. Good perpetual motion machine coming through here. But yes, a lovely breakout. Probably isn't followed enough, I don't think.
I love Saga, actually. It's one of the unsung heroes. And 94% long on this is just a reminder to our friends here. This is a reflection of the IG client universe, not the entire investment universe. But this is a good indication of the position. 94% have long positions. 6% have short positions.
No yield on Saga. Interesting.
But the thing I like about Saga too is that it's almost like
holidays.
it's let's go back to Chris's chart.
Oh, hang on. There you go.
There we are. It's one of those. It's a bit like Diploma. It's one of those quiet.
Yes. All very good. I like.
Shoehorn that in.
Did you get Diploma in there?
Yes, it's a quiet. Almost like it doesn't make headlines. But it's almost like belt and braces, continues its way steadily up over the years, and it keeps its nose nicely above, in terms of price action, above the 50 there, as you can see, but also above my ultimate health indicator, which is the 200.
Yes, it's a good line in the sand, the 200-day. It's not perfect. Nothing ever is in markets.
Like life as well.
Paul Tudor-Jones, bad things happen below the 200-day moving average. Good things. I always do. I think we talked about this before. If you say, Chris, can you look at random chart X, Y, Z? I pull it up and you look, where's the 200-day? Where's the price? Where's the 200-day? Is it above? Is it below? It kind of is your first marker in the column. Is it going up? Is it going down? Is it going sideways? And there you are. It will have periods where it works really well. If you are looking at this, I probably talked about this a lot before in various iterations, but if you've got a rising price, all 3 moving averages that I've got on this chart, 50, 100, 200, are all moving higher. It just ticks that box in terms of an uptrend. It's not clever. It's not. I mean, Axel might take issue with it, but it is the way I start to look at it anyway. So.
So I'm smiling because when you say move sideways. So Emma, my 10-year-old, when she looks at a chart, I tell her to draw a bear or a bull, so that I understand that she gets whether it's bearish or bullish. And then suddenly I saw her drawing snails. So I said, "What is this?" And she said, "It's when it's not doing it, it's snailish."
There you go.
Right, we've got some of the questions. We'll save that one for Axel. Can we take a look at GMN? Whilst we are doing that, let's have a look at gold, because we had Rags Glasgow talking about Bitcoin in relation to gold. Gold is holding nicely above that 42,000 mark there. I know because my chart is, there we are. Right, so gold around 42,000, and we are starting to also see this on the weekly chart starting to climb again after that retracement there. Having a look at the daily chart for you as well, and as you can see here, it bounced and looked like it was about to fall below the 50, but it then decided to go back up after a short period of retracement there. And we saw a similar process there on the 20. I really like this because for the EMAs, you can see laddering, and when you see something going back into its normal uptrend progression, or rather what it's been in for some time, I like, personally, this is not trading advice, but I like it. There must be a technical term for this, Chris, help me out, but I call it laddering. So effectively, your price action is starting to bounce off an EMA that's above the one that it bounced off earlier. And we're now actually, there must be a technical term, I have to ask Axel about this, which means we're now looking at the next area of interest at around 4,300.
Exactly.
We talked about copper as well. Those of you who watch this show have heard me say over and over again, I think gold was sexy 2025, but 2026 is when copper is going to have a beautiful moment. And this is not something that I have plucked out of the air. It's down to two things. One is we know that there is a supply crunch at the moment, but also all the demand for renewables, the updates of grids, and also wind turbines, solar panels, all that extra, all that means it needs more copper cabling. And I'm going to show you some numbers that have been crunched. So don't take my word for it, but I completely agree with this as well, because UBS concurs. This is the UBS outlook for copper for 2026.
Oh.
So
They've done a lovely picture.
there we are. And the thing is with copper, it is one of your cover mining. It's one of the hardest metals to go from, inception to actually getting it out of the ground. And it can take anything from 5 to 10 years. At the moment, we have severe restriction and multi-year shortages. So they have a December 2026, this is UBS, new target, $13,000.
I shall put that in my folder of 2026 outlooks, because I do it every year.
Is that what you're doing? Typing away? I thought you were ignoring me.
No, I put them in a folder, and then I do like to review them in December and see. Some make you go, others make you get a good laugh in December.
Have you put in your diary, laugh at Ange, end of 2026?
I just remember. That's a weekly recurring.
Also, let's have a look at silver as well. Last one, very quickly. Right, silver as well.
Juiceville doing his best barman routine, I think.
Yeah, he's going to turn off the lights in a moment. Yeah, so silver there also had a moment. This is the 1 hour chart. Let's have a look at the daily for you. Healthy retracement there, and now firmly on its way back up again. Right, we've got Axel waiting in the wings, and Arsax, we will get him on Rolls-Royce as well, because I have a position on Rolls-Royce too, so I'd like to get a different view on it. Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure having you on.
Hardly ever a chore.
No. Right, we will see you very soon, but Axel is coming right after this, so have your questions here and ask at ig.com as well. Send them to me and I will get them answered.
Bye for now.
Do you like the sound of tax-free trading? Well, that's exactly what spread betting enables you to do. This tax-free way of trading lets you speculate on the price of over 17,000 financial instruments like shares, indices, forex, and commodities without actually owning them. With spread betting, you can benefit from both rising and falling prices, letting you find the perfect opportunity. So if you think the market's going up, you buy. If you think it's going down, then you can sell short. Not only is spread betting exempt from capital gains tax, but it's also commission-free. All you pay is the spread. With us, you're not alone. You're part of a wide community of traders that you can learn from. We've got the experts, the tools, and extensive educational resources to help you on your journey. If you're not quite ready to trade with real money, you can always give it a go on a demo account. Open an account today, join the conversation, and be inspired to make moves. Welcome to the Art of Investing, a brand new podcast to help you achieve your investing goals.
And I've seen at first hand the power of the wealth creation that one has been able to obtain from this industry. What we're going to do is we're going to put it into action by creating our own model portfolio.
We're going to be talking about the big indices that are around the world, because that is probably some of the safest ways for you to invest your money.
We need to bring this to everybody and help them then take control of their own investment story.
Join me, Rich McDonald, and my co-hosts Mark Spice Holden and Chris CJ Fellingham every Friday when we bring you updates from the markets and insights from our combined 100 years of investing experience.
Hello and welcome to Trade of the Week on Monday, the 8th of December 2025. And last week I went long the euro versus the British pound sterling. And I did so, if you look at my chart, because we were bouncing off the May to December uptrend line, as you can see here. So we went long at 87.75, and that's this horizontal line here. And at first it looked good, but then, as it sometimes is the case, the market did what it wants to do and didn't do what I wanted it to do. So anyway, the British pound appreciated very strongly and euro sterling fell through our stop loss level. So we had a tight stop on here, trying to hit an upside target just below these highs here. We got close to these, but we didn't get filled, and instead we got stopped out. So these things happen. So we had a loss on this position and lost 2%. Now, what I would like to do today is not to come up with another trade of the week, because we're heading towards the end of the year, and sometimes it's a good idea to actually rest, reset, analyze what went well this year, what didn't go so well, and so forth. And we are going to look at our stats. And what you can do is, and what you should do, is have a very simple Excel spreadsheet or something else where you basically track your positions. And I'll show you exactly how I do this here at IG next week. So I'll show you exactly all of our trade of the weeks, the P&Ls, what we look at, reward to risk ratios, the spreads, the target, how much capital risk, and that sort of thing. But for this week, what I would like to do is just focus on our performance. And like last year, actually, we were only right half of the time. Actually, this year we were less right than wrong, as you can see here. And I say we because it's Chris Beecham and I who do these. Most of the time it's me. So I'm completely responsible for this one, but sometimes it's him as well. And basically we had 18 winning trades and 21 losing trades. So more losing trades than winning trades. Last year it was slightly skewed towards the positive side. This year slightly negative. And we had 8 neutral trades. Now what that means is basically we get in on a position, it goes in our direction, and then what we do is we move our stop to our entry level, thereby having a free trade on. So that's why 8 of these got stopped out at break even, or I think 2 of these actually we never got triggered on those trades, or one of these actually said this week I don't have a good setup, so let's not trade, because you don't always have to trade. Anyway, looking at the stats, we're up 20% for the year. So on a £10,000 account, we would have made £2,000 or just over £2,000, risking £200 per trade. So 2% of our capital. And you can see here we had 5 losing months, and then we had 7 winning months. But you can see that the winning months, some of them are much bigger than the losing months. And you can see that here on the right-hand side, also on this graph. The orange line is our P&L. The green ones are the positive months, and the red ones are the negative months. So these are the stats. And as I say, I'm going to go into how I have my trading plan, how I set it up, and all of that next week. But for this week, let's just look at our performance in total. This is over the last 7 years for Trade of the Week. I'm only responsible for the last 3 years here since 2023. But you can clearly see here that on average, we are right about 19%. We're making 19% return per year on average, risking 2% of capital.
And last year we were up 31%. This year we were actually up 33% before I had a pretty bad losing streak, but we're still up 20% for the year. So you can see that by managing your risk, by being disciplined, you can consistently get double-digit returns. But you need to be very disciplined in your approach. And if you want to learn more about these sort of things, here at IG, we do also webinars, and you can join those at any time. And we can show you how Chris and I, basically, and Angeline, approach investing and trading. Thanks for watching Trade of the Week, and I hope to see you again next week. Hello, and welcome to Technically Speaking, where you can send me your questions to do with technical analysis, and I'm going to have a look at these. Obviously, I'm not giving you any advice. I'm just analyzing the chart. And I've had lots of questions today, so I'll try and get through all of these. But let's start with the first one here. It was Orosio Mining, a mining share I don't know much about. And the question was, is it breaking out? Now, what do you reckon? I mean, what can we see? We can see an uptrend, very clear uptrend here on the chart. We've been rising since July of this year. Very nice acceleration to the upside here in September. Then a sort of grinding sideways to bullish move up to the high in October with a lot of volatility. Then a move down. Looked as if we were failing and breaking down, but then actually we bounced off the uptrend line. And now what we're seeing is a breakout to the upside. Yes, clearly, because what we're seeing is here. Can you see last week us testing these previous highs and basically the highs from the 19th November and the 13th of November. And then we closed above these on the 28th of November. Fell back below again, closed above these highs again on the 3rd of December and also above this 28th of November high. And that was already indicating that likely this break to the upside was positive. We formed a double bottom here, heading back up again. And then we saw on Friday the break above these two, again positive, follow through to the upside today. So yes, it's a bullish breakout. Technically, very clearly now heading higher again. What are the upside targets? Well, you can see all of these highs going back basically to to September and October of this year. So we're talking 26.66 to, let's say, 28.40 as our upside target area for this share. Now, where's our stop loss if you're long? If you bought last week, then perhaps you could have a tighter stop loss just below the low from the 2nd of December, that last relative low here. On a daily chart closing basis. If you're longer term long, perhaps your stop loss would be just below this low here from the 7th of November. So further upside in store, in my opinion, for Orosur Mining. American Express, another very nice uptrend. You can see here American Express has been rising for most of this year. Actually, you can see from April it's had a stellar uptrend here. Very nice advance, and we retested the uptrend line. This is why I love technical analysis. I mean, look at this. We drew a line from the 7th of April low through the low seen on the 10th of October. Lo and behold, it held exactly on the 17th of October, and it did so again on the 18th of November. And we've bounced off this uptrend line. We are now heading to our all-time record high on American Express here on the daily financial bet made on the 12th of November at 37,721. That is very likely to be retested, or this vicinity is likely to be retested. The question then is, can we break through there, or are we coming off that resistance and then potentially consolidating a bit? But if we get through that resistance, the next technical upside target, without having done any Fibonacci extension analysis on here, which I haven't got time for, would probably be the next round number. What's the next round number? $400 or 400,000 on the daily financials bet. So we've got that as an upside target for American Express, provided we stay above the last big reaction low, which is the low from the 18th of November. This was made at 33,421.5 on the daily financial bet. So that's the long-term stop if you're long. The medium-term or short-term one might be, or the short-term one is probably the low from Wednesday of last week. That was made at 35,520. As long as we stay above there, the trend is your friend. We are looking still bullish on this chart. Why? Because we have a series of higher highs and higher lows, And yes, we're not even overboard. So we still have room to the upside with regards to American Express. Now, is the question with regards to Garmin similar or not? And you can probably answer that yourself. Are we in an uptrend or are we in a downtrend? Well, it really depends on your time frame, doesn't it? Because Garmin, as you can see, can be quite a volatile stock. So we got these big gaps here. But basically what we're seeing is that we broke out of this uptrend, which we had in place since April of this year, which took us to the highs in October. Then we had this big gap down. And then since then, we've been falling. So we've been in a downtrend since October. And technically, we still are in a downtrend because we haven't made a higher high. So what we would need to see on a medium-term perspective is a move back down again, and then a move above this high, or whatever the highest point of that move is at the moment. And then we would have changed our direction of our trend potentially. But in the short term, what we do see, and by that I mean from the lows seen on the 20th of November, we are now in an uptrend. We're grinding higher. So Garmin is short-term heading up again. What I would like to see is, can you see here, if you go to the left, the last reaction high, that was made here on the 10th of November on the daily financial bet at 20,570. What I would like to see is a daily chart close above that high. In that case, it's possible that we will continue, and the odds, in my opinion, would be slightly skewed towards the upside, that this grinding move higher is more likely to continue than not if we were to close above here. And what I, as I say, then want to see is a move up, another move, a correction to the downside. If that unholds and we make a higher high above this last reaction high, then we have a trend reversal in play. Now, if you use trend lines, they are very flat here because you can see from there to that, it's a long way away. So maybe you can't really use that in this occasion. Here you could have a sort of downtrend line, but they don't really mean much if it's that steep and you've had a big gap lower. So I would probably ignore that. You could draw a support line on here, but you know, it could easily be broken. But yes, in the short term, that might hold. And basically, as long as we stay above the last reaction low, this is this tiny one here from the 1st of December at 19,314. For me, the short-term trend is pointing upwards again. But if I were a long-term investor and I were short from up here, I would probably remain short unless I get this break of, you know, it forming a higher high here, it coming off again and then making a new high. Because medium term, the trend is still not looking positive, in my opinion, on Garmin. Now, Arista Networks is another one. This is an extended hours chart. And you can see here that we also had a huge gap here take us down. And since then, it's been a really sort of very negative development for the share price, taking us back to levels last traded, I believe it was in 2020. Yes, correct. Since then, we've seen a recovery. So what are we seeing at the moment? Let's look at the lows going back to April of this year. So we've had a nice uptrend, as most stocks have had, into the highs in October. And since then, we've had a pretty severe downtrend. And also, we've broken through and closed below this last reaction low here from the 14th of October and did so on the 4th of November. That was a warning sign that this uptrend was over. We formed this top and we've come off since. But what we are also seeing in the shorter term is that we are trying to head back up again, because what we're seeing here is a break of this resistance line here. And we tried, let me just zoom out. And by the way, that resistance line is incorrect. Why is it incorrect? What have I done wrong? Can you see here, there's a tiny bit of that shadow above the trend line. That is incorrect. You need to make sure that no data goes through the trend lines. Otherwise, they're not going to be precise, and you want these to be precise. So can you see here, there's no data going through here, except when we have the break of that trend line and the move above the last reaction high, this one here. So that is short-term bullish. Trend line break, reaction high, but this reaction high is below the trend line. So what I like to see is also a move above the last reaction high, which is above the trend line once we've broken it. What do I mean by that? Can you see the trend line break here? Close above the trend line. We then go to the left of our chart and see where the last reaction high was. That was this high here from the 20th of November, and that was made at 13,360. And what I want to see now is a rise and daily chart close for Arista Networks above that high here. In that case, we will have formed a trend line break and a reversal, and then I'd be more confident that the longer term trend from the April lows is resuming to the upside. And in that case, this could just be an A, B, C Elliott wave correction, a zigzag correction down, up, down, and then we continue and head towards new highs again. So that's the view I have. Right now, we're just trading sideways. So I'm not anticipating what Arista Networks is going to do. I'm just looking at my chart. Short term, we're grinding higher. We remain positive as long as we stay above Wednesday's low at 12,382.5 here. And what I want to see for us to confirm a reversal to the upside is a rise in daily chart close above that 20th of November high. As long as that doesn't happen, this downtrend here from the highs seen in late October remains in play, because after all, you still have a series of lower highs, because this high is lower than that one, and still a series of lower lows, even though we bounced higher here. So just be aware of that. So always look at the longer time frame and then zoom into the shorter term time frames to analyze your charts. Rolls-Royce, a very bullish chart over the last few years, did practically as well as Nvidia, yet lots of people don't talk about it. Brilliant chart. We had a pretty sharp top here, take us into the April lows, but that was Trump induced, and since then a very nice bull market. But what we've seen over the last few weeks, and this is why we're looking at this chart more and more, is a topping formation here. We tried to retest the highs that we saw, the record highs in September, did so at the end of October, but failed to do so and then came down. And also what we saw is we tried to retest this high here and failed to do so and then came off. And when we did come off, we fell through our long-term uptrend line going back to April here. We closed below it here, and on the next day, we closed below the last relative low. Can you see here? So we have a trend line break, close through the trend line, and then fall through the last reaction low, which is my definition of a trend line break. You might have another one. But anyway, that's how I look at the charts. And you can see here we fell through there and then we continue to the downside. But what has happened since? Well, basically, this may still be an A, B, C Elliott wave correction, where the distance from this high to that low is similar in length, slightly longer than the distance from that high to this low. So that might still be an Elliott wave correction. And from the long-term perspective, you may still, if you're still long because you didn't get out here, get out if we were to fall through the low seen on the 25th of November, which Rolls-Royce was made at 1,018.8 on the daily financial bet. As long as you're above there, the long-term uptrend is still intact. Short-term, what have we seen is basically several things. First, we have broken through a short-term resistance line here. Can you see? Breaking through it. And then on Thursday, we broke above and closed above not just the trend line, but also the last reaction high, this one here. As you know, my definition for a reversal and a trend line break. And here we have this W formation, potential double top, not quite because we didn't go down to these lows here. But yes, it's a reversal. What's happened though yesterday, or I should say on Friday, is that we failed at that previous support, which is now because of inverse polarity resistance line or area. And what I want to see is for us to break through there. So ideally what I want to see is a move above 1,120 on the daily financial bet, in which case it's pretty likely that we're going to continue to head higher and head back up towards 1,200 or the record high. So that's my take on Rolls-Royce. If you are short Rolls-Royce, then maybe move your stop down, or maybe if you have a stop, put it just above this high here, but there's a long way away if you're short at 1,164. Because it does look more constructive than not at the moment with regards to Rolls-Royce. Now, I've also got a question on a currency pair, dollar-yen. Let's just change here. I mean, dollar-yen's been really interesting because we've been heading higher. I actually thought that it might top a few times, and I wasn't right on this one. I mean, it continued to head higher, and you can see here that dollar-yen had risen quite substantially, and we were a bit worried about a potential intervention, which has possibly been taking place in the background, but not really officially by the Bank of Japan. But what we can see here is that we have risen into this high from the 20th of November at, let me just see where it is, so just below 158, I believe, yes, 158 yen. And since then, what we've seen is a fall through our uptrend line and a close and fall through the last reaction low. So that means the trend line break is valid. But what we're seeing at the moment on the shorter term perspective is that we are in the process literally of breaking through this short-term resistance line. So when you've got these two conflicting scenarios, which one do you go with? Well, the answer is simple. You go with the longer-term trend or the next bigger trend. What I mean by next bigger is if you're trading, for example, intraday, let's say on an hourly chart, you would look at the daily chart. If you trade on the daily chart, you look at the weekly chart. So we're trading the daily chart, let's say. What's the weekly chart saying? Oh, it's going up, isn't it? Series of higher highs, higher lows. I mean, there's no hint of a retracement lower being seen. I mean, it's tiny here. For 2 weeks, we came off a bit, but there is no topping formation. Here's nothing like this or here like that. So we're still an uptrend. So if you can't decide between, short-term signals, look at the longer-term trend. It's still pointing up. So you could say, okay, I'm actually going to go long here because we probably have a trend line break. My stop is very tight below the last relative low that was made on Friday of this week at 154 yen and 35 sen. And that, by the way, was where these highs were made. So that previous resistance acted as support here on Friday. Now, if you're not so sure that the trend line break is valid, perhaps wait for us to close above this high here. Because why? Because we're breaking through the trend line, as you can see here at the moment, but we haven't taken out the last high here, these relative highs. I mean, if you really want to look at relative highs, is this one here from the 2nd of December, but that's 158.18, in fact, 156.18. It's a long way away to wait. So that would make your stop bigger. So then it's a trade-off between getting in early and perhaps getting it wrong, or getting more confirmation and perhaps being less likely of getting it wrong, but having a wider stop. And you need to make that decision beforehand. That's why you need to have a trading plan and follow that plan. But yes, we are in the process of breaking through that short-term downtrend with a longer term in the direction of the longer term uptrend. And if that were to be, my scenario, what I would do here is basically redraw my trend line, because basically what I'm seeing, it was just a correction in a trend. And what I would do now is just make it a support line here. Why? Because basically trends flatten out, don't they? So it's totally normal for this to happen. That was just a correction in the long-term uptrend. And if you can see here, that's our last reaction low. If we fall through this uptrend line and below this last reaction low, then this dominates once more this downtrend here, the shorter term compared to the longer term. But right now, I'm pretty bullish on dollar yen. Right, let's look at Airtel Africa. Lots of questions for charting here. So Airtel's looking positive, as you can see here. It went higher. And yes, I mean, people quite often think, oh, it's forming a top, it's forming a top. Oh, look. Don't project onto the chart what you think might happen. This will only become a double top if you fall through the last reaction lows. It hasn't happened. And yes, we made another higher high here and we're coming off again. But we're still above these lows here. So for me, Airtel Africa, provided we're still above the 19th of November low here at 294.90 on the daily financial bet, is bullish. And we may keep on grinding higher for a while. Yes, there is a slight warning sign, and that's perhaps why we came off the last few days. You can see this higher high compared to the previous one here in mid-November wasn't accompanied by the relative strength index, which made a lower high. You can see this high here is lower than that one. And that was telling you that there was negative divergence on the chart. And that quite often is a warning sign that this trend isn't healthy and that you could see a reversal here. Also, you've got this shooting star pattern. So that explained the last few days. But this might already be it. You don't know. Maybe it will come off a little bit more. But if you look at the price action, which is always more important than the oscillators, what you want to see is the last reaction lows holding. And this is the case here. So as long as we hold above the 19th of November low, we still look bullish, in my opinion, because we have an uptrend, as you can see on the weekly chart, very clearly defined. It looks very healthy. Airtel Africa is still looking good. And yes, we are trading record highs. But look, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 consecutive months of rising prices. I mean, that's a strong trend. So, yeah, further upside in store. What's the next upside target? I would have to do, again, a Fibonacci extension analysis. Can't do that here. Haven't got the time. But the next high, probably 350 or so, because that's a round number, and then 400. But yeah, it's still looking very bullish here for Airtel Africa. The FTSE 100, good idea to look at an index also because it's struggling slightly today. You can see here the FTSE coming off a bit. We tried to retest these previous highs here on Friday, but then reversed to the downside. And what is important here is that we, in one day, took out 1, 2, 3, 4, or nearly 4, 5, 6. Except for this little shadow here, we took out the last 6 trading days within a day. So that tells you that the momentum has changed in the short term, and it's now pointing down instead of up. So what we may see is this down move here resuming as long as we stay below these highs here, because we tried for several times for over a week to go higher again, to break through 9,750, but we didn't manage to do so. And that means there is still downside pressure. At the moment, we're just hovering with very little volatility. And this is part of the reason why I said also, it's not a bad idea to wind down your trading towards December. Volatility is dropping off. These candles become smaller, and you'll have less opportunity because of the lower volatility to make profits. Unless you trade in shorter term timeframes. So what could happen with the FTSE? Well, basically, can you see these lows here going back to the 5th of November and the 7th of November? And these come in around current levels. These are acting as support now. But if they were to be fallen through, the next downside target would be these lows here, going back to the 14th and the 17th of November. These are around 9,606 to 5. So that would be the next downside target area, in my opinion, for the FTSE 100, as long as we stay below this high here at 9,745, which was made on the 2nd of December. So it looks to me as if the FTSE may be grinding lower in the short term. And then we'll have to see what it does around 9,600 if it were to do what I expect it to do, but I don't know. So if I were to trade it, I would just trade the setups. And the setups is basically we've fallen through these lows, which are likely to act as resistance going forward. So all the way up to 9,700, basically as long as we stay below the low on the 5th of December. And since that is very slightly below the one seen on the 2nd of December, I would use the 2nd of December low at 9,745 instead of this one, 9,738, as my stop loss if I were short here with the downside target down here. So that's my view on the FTSE. If we take out these highs, of course, we would be heading towards the highs seen at the late October and also early November, and they take us up towards 9,793 or so. That would be the next upside target for the FTSE 100. Right, let's look at CMG now. Keep these questions coming. CMG, Chipotle Mexican Grill, extended hours chart. And we had a pretty bad decline here, as you can see. But, and this is what I keep saying to investors, I know it's always tempting from a fundamental point of view to say, oh no, it's bottoming, it's going to go back up again. Fine. But most of the time, the trend that you've had in place for quite a while is more likely to continue than not. And then you can always buy it fundamentally at a cheaper price. So just be aware of that and maybe just buy it if you have confirmation that it's really changing direction. As I can see on this chart, look, it's been declining for ages now. I mean, since 2014, down, up, and another one down, and then sideways here, and then another one down. Now we're trying to go back up again. It could be one of these, but we could have another one down. I mean, the trend is your friend. What can I say? It's pointing down. Yes, short term, we're trying to recover. But as I say here, look, as long as we stay below this downtrend line here, we're just trading sideways short term, and we may be coming down again. And even if we were to break through this downtrend line, where's our last relative high? I mean, they were talking about these highs going back to October of this year. So unless these are taken out, the downtrend remains intact. Even if we break through this downtrend, now we also have a lot of resistance now. These previous support levels here from September and October would then probably act as resistance here. So what you can also do from a technical perspective, you can take the halfway point of this body of this candle here, and that quite often acts as resistance when a market goes back up again against the trend. So yes, for me, this is still a downtrend. We're grinding higher short term. We may have another up leg perhaps if we go up because of this candle formation here, the hammer that we made on the 4th of December. But basically, if that hammer low were to be fallen through, we may actually slide back towards 3,200. For me, that's still a bearish one, and I wouldn't necessarily go long on it. Unless you're long from down here, in which case you can then move your stop to break even. But from a longer term perspective, the chart is still looking bearish to me. Diageo, yes, Diageo is also an interesting stock. You can see here, I think we looked at it recently, that we're still in a downtrend, exactly illustrating what I just told you. And I think last week I said, yeah, it might come up, but unless we take out this high on a closing basis, we are still bearish. Now, this is an interesting one. This is the one where you can get things wrong with technical analysis. And of course you do. It's just a probability game. But can you see here, what happened here was the following. We had this downtrend, and then we broke through it on the 5th of November. And that's why I have my rule in place with the next higher relative high. We didn't break above this relative high, and lo and behold, we then made a new low. So that downtrend actually wasn't a valid break here. So what I would have done then is, actually, let's just do this together, and as if we didn't know what was going to happen next. So that would be our downtrend here now. So it went down, then it went up. Oh, what are we seeing here? Big candle to the upside, and that candle closed above the downtrend line and above the last relative low, last relative high here from the 5th of November. That was a valid trend line break. So in that case, yes, you could have gone long or out of your shorts. And then what happened? We went up. And then, can you see, we also broke above this last relative high, which is a more important one than the short-term one for the medium-term trend. But we did not close above. Can you see that's the close? We didn't close. We closed very marginally above this high here. And then lo and behold, it went down again. So even if you had closed above here, it would have been a false signal, because it would have told you likely it's going to go back up again, but actually it came down again. But even in that scenario, we had stop losses. It's down here below that low. And then you wouldn't have been stopped out, you wouldn't have been stopped out, you wouldn't have been stopped out. And then today you would have been stopped out on that long position had you gone long up here. But anyway, what's the story here? The story, you know what the story is. The story is we are still in a downtrend. Why? Because we have a series of lower highs and lower lows for Diageo. We've now fallen through this low here from November. If we have a daily chart close below there today, it's a confirmation that we are breaking lower again. And then we need to zoom out and look how far Diageo can fall. And as you can see here, it can fall quite a lot more, because we're heading down towards the low seen in August of 2015. That low was made at 1,592.3. So that's my next downside target for Diageo. And you can see here on the monthly chart, we've also had, we currently are on track for our 4th consecutive month of declining share prices here. So follow the long-term trends. I mean, look at these. It's down. It's pointing down. Why do you want to try and buy every time it's going down the shares that just fall? Because it's not the way to do it. Try to get the odds in your favor. Trade in the direction of the trend. And believe me, you'll be much more profitable if you do that in the long term, simply because of the trend and the probability of being right. It's like swimming with the tide, I always say. It's much easier to do that than against the tide. Right. On that note, one last one, Serabi Gold, because we did a long show today. Let me just do this one here. And let me analyze that one. So I've not looked at this one for a long time. And what I can see here is a very healthy uptrend, becoming more volatile towards the top here, towards the record highs. But we tried to retest these record highs going back to October. Haven't really managed to do so yet. Didn't manage to do so in November. And right now we are trying again. But we may be failing at this resistance. They are just below the psychological 300 mark. So just be aware of that. So if you then look at the daily chart, yes, we are now looking at a still bullish chart, but potentially one where we may see a reversal. Why? You can see we have a series of higher highs, higher lows. We then had a sharp reversal to the downside, but then had this hammer and then came back up again, tried to retest these highs, came down again, then back up again. That's bullish actually, but so far have failed to take out these highs. Now you could say, oh, it's going to be a double top. No, it's going to be a double top here if and only if you fall through the low of that midpoint. That low was made a long way away, around the 200 mark on the 28th of October. As long as you stay above that on a long-term basis, it's still an uptrend. So don't jump the gun. Also, I'm not saying it's going to be a double top. Basically, what we're seeing now is a retracement of this test of resistance, which failed. Fine, we could have another test. How can we remain bullish here? Well, basically, as long as we stay above this hammer here, the one going back to the 24th of November, and that low is 230 on the daily financial bet. As long as we stay above the last reaction low here, it's still bullish. It might just close the gap here, retrace lower, and then have another attempt at the upside. So that, for me, is the line in the sand in the short term. And from a longer term perspective, it's this one here for the 28th of October, all bullish. If you're short on this share, on this stock also, basically, you know where the stop loss is. Don't place it just below this high here, because that was marginally below the all-time record high on the 15th of October. I would place my stop loss just above 295 here, because these are the highs. If you believe you could go down here, but if you are short from above here, yeah, the stop is relatively small and your reward to risk is pretty positive. If you go short now, you're risking 30 to the upside, and if you're right, you might make 30 to the downside, unless it's a major top. That's a reward to risk of 1-to-1. That's not really that interesting. But yes, basically, it may be topping out. It's not very clear what it's doing here. Short term, it looks a little bit bearish since last week, but medium term, as long as we stay above the 24th of November low, we are still bullish. Long term, above the 28th of October low, still bullish. Okay, Bitcoin, one more, and then we finish. Bitcoin. Yes, a lot of people are underwater on Bitcoin, lots of other cryptocurrencies. As you can see here, it's not looking that great, is it? I mean, look, yes, we've broken through this downtrend line, and yes, we closed above that previous high on the 2nd of December. That is bullish. It does mean that we are probably forming a bottom here. But since then, look, we're just trading sideways. Well, what I want to see to be confirmed in my bullish view, which is short-term bullish view, because medium-term we're still in a downtrend, we need to take out these highs from early December, and they are around $94,170, I believe. Only then will I become more sort of positive on Bitcoin. But even then, we have a lot of resistance going back to these lows in June of this year and also in November. So interesting times ahead for cryptocurrencies, which haven't done as well as, for example, the US or Asian or European indices. So crypto at the moment is slightly underwater. Interesting times ahead for next year. Do watch the 2026 outlooks, which Chris, Rich and I will be putting out on YouTube soon. More about that over the course of the week. But thanks for watching Technically Speaking. I hope to see you again next week. Goodbye.